Whoever invented soda is a maniac. They're like,
love
water
soda.
doesn't taste
I
good
love
enough. I'm like,
soda.
are you kidding me? Water tastes the best.
like a
It smells
trillionaire
like
now.
dog.
I want it to burn when it goes down.
I love soda, man.
I mean, most people do.
Spicy juice.
It's one of the best-selling products on this planet.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like a drug.
I've never done heroin, but when I stopped drinking soda, and now when I like have a sip of it, like at least we'll get a soda or whatever,
Feels great,
and have
huh?
a sip of it, even like the fucking Coke Zero
Feels
caffeine-free one,
Feels great.
it's like Requiem for a Dream. It's like,
Your eyes
and then
dilate.
there's a dildo in my butt.
How'd I get here? Yes. Welcome to Funhaus, everybody. This week's episode is sponsored by Mack Weldon, a men's wear essentials brand. So thank you, Mack Weldon, for bringing us here this week. I've got my buddies Adam Kovic.
Not your friend.
Hey.
He said, buddy.
He said buddy.
I know.
Adam Kovic, Bruce
Hello.
Green, James Willems.
Hello.
My name's Daniel Schneider. We're going to talk about movies, talk about some news, and then maybe after a little while we could talk about a little Oscar stuff, little Oscar stories,
Exciting.
some
I watched Green Book
controversies.
last night just to discuss it.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
It's okay.
Save it for the podcast.
Exactly.
If we get to it.
That's the beginning and the end of it. It's just
All right.
okay.
What's happening in Hollywood land, Dan?
Yeah,
Not a
what's
lot.
the big news, Dan?
What's happening in Tinseltown?
We live here.
Oh, yeah. I should just drive up the street and ask.
Yeah, just holler out the window. There's actually not a whole lot going on because it is Oscar time, and everyone likes to pick those things apart. But right before the Oscars, HBO released a trailer showing some new stuff.
Yeah.
A little glimpse at Deadwood, a little glimpse at Game of Thrones.
This is a Deadwood movie, right?
Yeah, I think
But it's coming to HBO.
going to HBO.
And I guess we have to do this now. Full disclosure,
What?
HBO is a sister company of ours.
We don't have to.
Do we have to? So I'm just saying so it doesn't look like we're shilling.
Oh, sure. Okay,
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, we would say if it's an ad,
We've been talking about Game of Thrones
and we
for
don't, we
10
shit on
years.
everything all the time. Who gives a shit about On the Spot?
There's also a little teaser for His Dark Materials and Watchmen. Have you guys seen this?
No, I've not watched any of it.
I saw the Dark Materials, and I've also seen the Golden Compass, and I've read all the books.
I've read all the books.
I was
but-
going to say,
holy
unless
shit.
they'd brought back Sam Elliott, rightfully should have been award-winning Sam Elliott. Nah, I don't know. It was a tough.
He was
category.
good. He was
It's a
really
tough
good in it.
category.
He was
I'm
barely
okay
in
with Mahershala Ali.
He's got enough.
But yes.
We're all excited about Game of Thrones. That's
Yeah,
what we're
absolutely.
excited
I mean,
Are people excited, Bruce? Because a lot of people were disappointed with how quick they moved last season.
about. Right, James. Not you and I.
I'm happy for anything to end.
There should have been 15 episodes, and 4 of them should have been that guy running in the snow.
I mean, they don't know how it's going to end, but we do.
So this is
This year.
just a sizzle reel for
Yeah, a
all
little
the
sizzle for
excitement
everything going
that
on
HBO
HBO.
has in 2019.
I personally am stoked for Deadwood. That show disappeared too soon.
You
There's
keep,
just a
telling me
little-
to, you keep telling me to watch it, Dan. So
Are you
I'm
going?
gonna,
You
I'm
should,
gonna-
man. I think it's wonderful.
At Dan's recommendation, probably what? Fucking when we were driving out here.
Yeah, that was a
15
I think
years
it
ago.
decade
was.
ago.
I think
Yeah.
it was when we were driving out here that we were like, we should watch Deadwood.
And then he went on to describe every scene act by act because it was
As
such a
we're
long
driving,
drive.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, then Calamity Jane comes in. She goes, don't know our version.
Deadwood always, for me, had the problems that most Westerns do, whereas everyone looks dirty and sad.
yeah. Well, that's it.
That's why I
true.
liked the first season of Westworld so much, because everyone was clean.
The
and
clean
happy.
old West, where there was no dust.
I think that's actually why I liked Deadwood because it felt authentic.
Felt
And
real.
the
Yeah,
way
lived in.
the way it was shot with
Everybody
it,
smells bad.
It sort of
stinks.
simulated natural light, and the way everyone talked was just so cool.
I listen. I've only heard amazing things, and I'm sure it's a great show. It's just the same reason, like Hell on Wheels. I watched the first season or first episode of Hell on Wheels. I was like, nope, everyone's covered in mud, covered in mud.
Well,
Shit
in
on
this they
all
were
the
covered in
faces.
shit. Like they had shit everywhere.
Yeah.
On purpose.
I think they just walk like the thoroughfare is shit.
Yeah.
Every other show or movie, it's
Well,
a
yeah,
dirt
there's
road
poop everywhere.
There's
This is
just-
the old West.
It looks like that. It looks like Valentine from Red Dead Redemption 2,
yeah.
where it's just like you walk out there and it's like, ugh,
Everything's muddy.
Oh God! But it becomes beautiful.
But I am
3 seasons
excited.
in.
I am excited for people who love Deadwood to get more Deadwood.
yeah, it's
because I
something
know
that
it's a good
died
show.
and is coming back to life.
Can I watch
and
the
it
film
shouldn't
without
have.
watching the show, Dan?
I doubt it, but maybe.
Okay.
I honestly don't know.
Do you know the
It's
story?
not. It's
behind
not
Deadwood?
super. It's not super plot heavy. The show. It's
it's-
more about its
No,
performances
I'm
and.
saying the story behind Deadwood.
Oh.
That the creator originally pitched a show about Romans.
Oh, yeah, it was cops in Rome.
Yeah, it was police officers in Rome.
that's
going
Which sounds
around
pretty
the Roman
rad.
countryside.
Called just
doing-
Roman.
No, but then he pitched it, and HBO was like, "We love this. We have a show called Rome coming out." And he was like, "Old West," and they're like, "Okay."
Really?
Yeah. So
But
he
David
just, like,
Milch is brilliant, the brain behind it.
But it's like, I guess that's pretty true to what the original scripts were. It's just Old West for Rome,
Yeah.
which I think is interesting considering this is now considered such a synonymous
With the
piece
Old West.
of Western culture, right? Like, it's one of the best, most popular depictions of the West.
Mostly because of Al Swearingen. He's like a perfect character. It reminds me a little bit of like Bill the Butcher, like a horrible, evil man, but you love him so much because of the performance.
Yep.
You know. You
All right, what's next?
What's next? We'll find out.
Let's talk
I
about
don't
it.
know what half the stuff in this is actually. I don't have a
doesn't
HBO
matter.
subscription anymore.
They got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll probably
Like
end up.
spookies?
We'll probably end up watching it at some
Oh
point.
yeah, this looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, it's blasting through a bunch of things.
They are making-
hopefully
They're
you're
throwing you
watching-
some logos.
I say, hopefully you're watching.
Yeah.
There we go.
Here's a
the
dragon.
video
That's what we
version of
wanted
this
to see.
podcast. 'Cause
The
it
thing
showed a
you're
bunch
here
of
for.
stuff.
I was going to say they're doing this on purpose so that we have to see all their other things.
Yeah. Also, because they've only finished one effects shot, I'm sure.
I was surprised they're doing the Golden
James
Compass.
McAvoy's in this?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, he saved
Lin-Manuel?
Narnia, so
Is Lin-Manuel
we'll
Miranda
go back.
playing
yeah.
Sam Elliott? What's his name?
He's the
I
polar bear.
forget. Yeah, I don't remember the name of Sam Elliott's character in the book.
Scoresby?
Lee
Scoresby.
Lee Scoresby.
Yeah.
Lee Scoresby. Yeah. The one casting they got right in the first movie.
Yeah.
It was like, and then everything else around it was awful.
James McAvoy's pretty. I thought Daniel
awesome.
Craig.
Daniel
No,
Craig is-
I actually. I say I had no problem with the casting of the Golden Compass movie. I thought Daniel Craig
Nicole
was a
Kidman
really
was
good.
Ava
Nicole
Green was
Kidman
good.
was on point.
I think Nicole Kidman was good. I
Ava
think
Green was good,
Green was
yeah.
good.
Come on.
I think all the casting was good except for maybe the little girl who I didn't really think was as
Kid actors are
charismatic
tough.
as the main. Little
she's kind of
girl
a
in his
shit.
Marketeer.
She's a shit in the book, so
yeah,
whatever.
but you're supposed to like her despite her being kind
Really?
of a curious little shit.
Little Lyra.
And I didn't really like her in the movie, but I think the movie just more suffered from they crammed a
His
bunch
Dark
of
Materials, just for everybody as listening, is Golden Compass.
Shit. Everyone knows that.
that one.
Come
Maybe
on,
you
everyone
noticed
knows
the subtle
that.
knife or the magic telescope
I read
or
all
whatever.
those
it's called.
books. Not everybody has.
Everybody know. When I hear materials, I immediately go Dark Materials, Golden Compass.
Polar bear.
Fighting.
Polar bear.
Polar bear fighting.
Good on them though for calling it His Dark Materials instead of Golden Compass.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, probably because they're
They
going
want
to
a
make a series,
distance.
so it'll be seasons, and hopefully
Yeah.
there's like 3 seasons, and each one deals with a book.
The
Cool. Subtle Knife was great.
If you are, Subtle Knife's my favorite one.
Yeah,
I
it's a
thought
great
that was the
book.
best one. Third one was kind of a letdown, but
How many books are there?
3.
and then
So
he's
the
writing.
second one's the best?
He's writing 3 more right now.
Oh.
It's his real
he
stick it
didn't
to
end
you,
it?
God.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I can read more of those books.
I don't know.
I thought he ended it. Oh yeah, we get a Watchmen show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, it's a shame that it's taken so long to get to this point.
This is Lindelof, right?
Yeah.
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 But
Which is concerning for some people.
there are definitely
It's
there
not-
are definitely some pieces of material that are way more suited towards television than they are towards movies, and I'm glad that we're getting to a point where the television networks and properties and channels and stuff can afford to make these stories to the scope that they should be. I mean, Elise has been saying that Harry Potter should be a
TV show?
TV show.
Oh.
It could sustain seasons.
Sure.
Yeah.
On
I
the
mean,
flip side, I'm watching Umbrella Academy right now on Netflix, and it took. There was like a 4-episode lull where I was just like, I think I'm over the show, and then finally something happened. And went, oh, thank God! But what? Who are you? There's no advertisers. It doesn't have to be an hour long. You made that choice.
That's true.
Why are we putting fluff
Well, it's
in
probably
these
because
things?
they want minutes worth of content.
I was going to say, Netflix probably wants 8 episodes or more.
They want
They got
they're
10.
probably
They're an
paying
hour
for
They got
long.
10?
minutes.
Oh.
10 hours of
I will
storytelling.
also say
thank
that
you.
having watched I haven't finished it, but watched most of Umbrella Academy, it's a loose adaptation of the comic book. Very loose.
I started reading it last night.
It feels
It's
like I said,
way
it
different.
feels more like Legion than it feels like they were like, we want to make a Legion type show out of Umbrella Academy, which is a weird comic but a pretty straightforward narrative. So
I don't know how they're going to make Big Little Lies another season.
I don't know.
I thought that first season
either.
wrapped up nicely, but
Yeah,
whatever.
I do too.
Does anyone watch Ballers?
No, and I'm
don't
more.
know.
I'm more
It's the new
curious.
Entourage.
It's got The Rock in it.
I'm
and
more curious.
no
how
one
he-
watches it.
How does he have time?
That's
He's
Yeah.
always working because
Good question.
he every single time someone watches this, he gets paid $100,000.
I know,
would
but
find time.
he
for
does.
that.
He does 3 movies a year where he's climbing something, and then he's in Ballers, and then he's producing like some other movie,
Games.
podcast, or
He's
TV
also,
show.
he also,
American Gladiators.
I thought
That's right, the
Titan
other thing,
Games
yeah.
came out, and just so you
Cool.
know, the Ultimate Beastmaster was like a Sylvester Stallone thing.
Yeah.
But if you ever watch it, he's there for the first episode going like, "Is the ultimate Beastmaster?" And then at the end he goes, at the very last episode he's like, "That was ultimate Beastmaster."
But he's not
He was
in it.
on set for maybe 25 minutes.
Sure.
The Rock is there every single day for every shoot, and they cut to him in the middle of the events being run.
He's like, "Whoa!"
And he's like, "Wow, they're really climbing fast." Like,
He's like, I got nothing else to do right now.
like,
I got all day.
They come
like, no,
down
you don't.
from this giant wall, and he high fives them. He's like there, or like they're swinging a giant hammer. He's standing next to him, going like, "Whoa!" Like,
And then he has somehow
Always there.
He tweets every day or Instagrams.
I
whatever.
love
He's like,
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
He's at
I
the
love
gym.
him. He's magic.
I just want to know if he's got that little thing Hermione had in the third Harry
the
Potter.
time
Yeah,
turner.
time
He
turner.
must have it. That's
He
where
might.
it went.
He
There's
might.
multiple rocks.
That's how he got
Yeah.
so big too.
Good on him.
I don't know.
Don't know what this is. Oh yeah,
Good
yeah.
actors though. Good actors.
It's about
John Turturro.
some rich family. It's
What are you
based on a
talking
true
about?
story.
Succession?
This I can't
Hey,
wait for.
Veep.
It's sad that it's going.
Veep is one of the best
Yeah.
shows on
It
television.
is. It's such a great show.
Probably the best written comedy on television.
I would agree.
And then it's like that, and then Good Place.
Well, it's like also-
right there because
It's written performed because of the heavy improv they do. But
Oh, it's so good.
it comes from the great writing and the
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just so good. I can't wait.
that's an amazing show. If anyone hasn't checked it out,
It's weird though. Have you ever watched The Thick of It? So Thick of It and Veep are very similar. It's kind of like The Office, where it was this adaptation
Yeah.
from a British show, and then you see Veep kind of become its own thing by the third season, where they just lean real hard into the insult comedy. It's so good.
yeah.
No, I love
Fucking
it.
Barry.
Was Barry good?
Yes.
Sorry.
I've only seen the first half of it, but it was excellent.
Everyone I know loved Barry. I watched the first episode and thought it was really good, but just because there's too much,
too much.
television,
Oh, here's some more Game of Thrones.
yeah.
Of course.
You
That's
bet.
from
The wall coming
last
down.
season.
Was
Yeah,
it?
that's from last season.
Yeah.
That's footage
Similar
from last
shot?
season.
Because Daenerys is a dumbass, and she was like, "I'll fly the dragon all the way up there," and then
They didn't know.
And then
How did she know they was gonna have ice spears that turns dragons into zombies?
True, I wouldn't have known.
Should've
First
known.
question I would have
wouldn't
asked.
known. The first thing I would have done is, oh, they're all frozen. I'm gonna bring my thing that breathes fire. It seems probably it makes logical sense.
It was a trap.
There's always a chance
was a
that
trap.
there's
It
a
was a
magical,
trap, absolutely.
I
magical
mean,
ice
she's not a
spear.
great leader. I said that
No.
the whole time.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't think I would have in that situation been like, but what if he's got an ice
No,
spear
I
that
wouldn't have
turns
done
a
that.
dragon into a zombie
Yeah,
dragon?
I would have
think
been
you
burned
got
down. Everybody.
I would have been like, I would have like, hold your breath because we're gonna have a big blow on them.
She's 13 and she's fucking her nephew or whatever. So
It's
She's
true.
13 in the show.
in the book she was like stupid young, but
It's true.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
they aged her up, thank God. So it's
It's less
just
creepy.
a little less creepy.
It's gonna be great. 6 episodes, right?
6 episodes. They're like some
they're
of the
like
episodes
movies.
are an hour and a half
I
long.
can't wait.
Yeah,
Me
I'm
too.
Bruce
so
and I are gonna be
excited.
fucking foaming at the mouth.
Every episode, give me the action.
Well, then-
Pour it on.
We're gonna have Game of Thrones sit on our face.
Yeah, and then you go play with its ass because that's something that happened.
Out of this whole promo, I'm most disappointed in the Watchmen stuff
Oh, they showed almost nothing.
because they may as
Show
well
a
have
girl in
not
a hood.
shown anything.
Yeah.
because
Nothing.
it was just someone walking through a parking. It wasn't
Yeah.
even
Well,
like a synonymous Watchmen
Night Owl or-
image or,
yeah,
whatever.
Those Jeremy Irons
Like,
eating
no-
cake, right?
That's the only.
That's
Well,
one of
that
the-
makes
Is he
sense.
Ozymandias? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Do you guys know anything about it? About the
No.
show?
No, I know nothing. I actually
Okay.
know nothing on purpose because I don't
No.
want to know.
I
I
I've read
understand
the
it's,
graphic
it's a
novel.
super loose adaptation
Yeah.
from what I
Okay.
understand.
which is
Hey, there's
that's
a yellow
fine.
yellow guy.
There is a yellow.
I didn't
guy.
realize yellow guy.
Yeah.
The yellow
and also a
bastard
really cool
returns.
car.
Oh yeah,
the
and then
grill on
cool
the front.
car.
Look at that brush guard.
Is he a yellow guy or is that just like weird color timing?
No, I think that's
mannequin.
Yellow Man.
That's a yellow man.
Yeah.
Who's yellow?
I don't
No,
know.
it's a loose adaptation. Whose cake is that? I don't know. It's a loose adaptation.
I will
He turned
say,
to one.
I will say a lot of people are upset with Damon Lindelof from Lost and all that other bullshit. I
Prometheus,
loved,
I think.
I loved The Leftovers, and I raved about it, loved it. So I'm really excited for Watchmen.
I also have had my issues with Damon Lindelof in the past, but I have since then listened to plenty of interviews with him, and I like him, and I know that he's a good writer. So I'm excited. I already got my Watchmen adaptation.
It was
No
pretty
offense,
faithful.
it's a
but
good
the Zack
movie.
Snyder
It's a great
director's
movie, yeah.
cut is fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
And is way better than it has any right to be, especially with all the supplemental material, which is basically every fucking page of the book.
Yeah.
And the ending's better. Sorry, Alan Moore.
I
I
like to imagine that I saw him get like proto-laid. We were at Comic-Con one year. Bruce and I are walking by, and we walked by the Nerd Machine party. That's that
Lindelof?
Zach. Well, Lindelof was outside in the smoking area.
Oh, yeah.
And he was talking to some woman, and he was sort of like, yeah, you know, blah, blah. And she was standing in a puddle of her own excrement.
Because she was so turned on
Yeah.
by Damon Lindelof.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like, good job, Damien.
Damien,
He
yeah.
said Damien. Oh, God.
The guy was like,
Woo!
Yeah. He went, fuck you. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, HBO's great. I hope that, AT&T's our parent company, but I hope AT&T doesn't fuck up HBO.
Ooh, bold
I think we
statement.
all hope
pushing
that.
out more, pushing out.
I just
more,
want them to
more.
keep making the good stuff they're making.
Yeah. I have to imagine they'll leave them alone.
I mean, they've already gone on record saying they're not going to leave it alone.
No way.
Oh,
But
no.
I don't know. HBO is the closest I feel like anyone's come to really competing with Netflix.
Yeah.
For people going, I'll pay you X amount of dollars per month just so that way I can have this thing that's last 2 months.
Yeah.
You know, like
I keep saying I want to rewatch Deadwood, and I kind of want to just keep it just for that. But
So you forever have it?
yeah, it's there. It's mine. I
Never
own it,
watch
even
it.
though I'm licensing it.
you can buy DVD.
James, you were talking about like people, a miniseries getting wise to like those types of movies where people are like, well, you should have just made it a miniseries. Why'd you cram it all into one movie? It makes no sense. What do you think should be adapted?
I mean, I agree. I think that we're getting a Lord of the Rings is going to be cool. There's some of these things that are like epics where I would actually like to see a Hobbit.
Sure.
Because I feel like The Hobbit was so stretched so fucking thin in those
terrible.
movies.
I was gonna say, shouldn't The Hobbit actually be condensed?
Well, it should be.
I mean, I think
whatever
there's
it can
ways
be.
to. The problem is the pacing of a movie is like it should be building and then climax and then end. But when you have things, books don't have to do that. They just kind of have chapters.
You can have a Tom
And you can just
Bombadil
like boom,
episode.
boom,
Yeah, a
boom,
total
boom,
waste of
boom,
time.
boom.
You're right.
I think that's easier to do in television. In terms of what I would actually want adapted.
Like I've heard people say World War Z instead of doing the
Yeah.
movie, and apparently the Fincher.
Yeah,
I think that's
movies.
done.
I like that movie.
What?
The
But
sequel.
did you read the book?
Oh, they
Yeah.
just canceled
It's just a
it.
think
complete.
so.
It's like
It's
why?
totally different,
why,
yeah.
like you know,
No, I
I
like
get
them
it.
both.
And I also am a fan of adaptation. I'm not one of those people that go, "Why did you make this and leave out this page?
No.
Why'd you leave out page 55 of whatever?"
It's a whole chapter.
I like seeing new creatives come in and interpret
if it serves the
a
story,
work.
yeah.
But I think there's a world where we can have them both. And if you want something that's more genuine, a genuine visualization, or something where you don't have to worry about these characters that you really liked while reading the book going missing,
Would
I think,
Harry
I think
Potter-
you could see a cool Fight Club
Oh,
done as a miniseries or something like that. Instead of Bollywood remaking these things and adding dancing, I would rather like if we're starved for old ideas, which is weird to say.
I don't think
is
we
it going to
are.
make Harry Potter better though if we see like how the house
60
elves work?
episodes?
I don't think
and
it's better.
Dobby in as many hats.
I think the
Or is it
Harry Potter
Hermione?
movies are a fine. It's not like anyone's like, these suck. We got cheated for 10 years. I just think if
Well, Danny McBride, I think.
yeah.
if
John
all
Goodman.
Hollywood is going to make is the same shit over and over again, I would rather them make the same shit in a new way as opposed to every 10 years we get a new Harry Potter movie.
All right, let me throw this idea out for you.
Yeah.
It's a story of Robin Hood,
Okay.
but it's about the same.
Let's talk about Star Wars. Jeez.
All right. Bruce
What's-
is moving us
what's the
along.
new-
Let's
What's
do
the
it,
news
please.
about Star
It's been
Wars?
20 minutes on HBO.
Oh, there's the Dark Materials trailer. I forgot I had that.
That's Lyra looking at his Dark Materials.
Yeah.
We'll step back for 30 seconds, Bruce. I
But
don't know
it's the
anything
same
about what's
shit.
going on.
Who does the voice? Who does the voice of her familiar, her daemon?
They didn't show any of those, which
Yeah.
is really
Who does the
interesting.
voice of
He's not
Who
done.
does the voice of Polar Bear?
I don't know.
I hope-
Clark Peters. No.
What's his name? Yernick Bernstein?
Yorick
Bjornsson.
Yorick Bjornsson.
Does this like take place in the 50s or something?
No.
No, it's a kind of a weird parallel.
I don't know if you want to spoil it.
I
Oh,
Is that
already
a magic
did.
timepiece?
Sorry.
I don't know. I thought that was actually sort of the allure of it, is the way the first book opens, and then the second one sort of goes, slapped ya. You go, oh, cool, thank you.
It's kind of cool.
Anyway, sorry.
All right, Star Wars.
No
What's the Star
apologies.
Wars news?
There isn't much. People
cool.
are wondering why there's no trailer and why there's no subtitle. I guess Star Wars
Christmas
Day
of this year, yeah.
it comes out December 20th, 22nd, something like that.
Yeah.
But
JJ,
it's kind of
always
weird.
comes in early.
It's kind of weird that there's nothing yet.
What
do you mean?
On Solo 2 yet?
No, that's
Too
done.
low?
Tolo.
I guess Star Wars Day is in April, so people are supposing maybe they're
Celebration,
waiting-
yeah.
Celebration.
So
yeah.
they're going to people are saying they're going to premiere the trailer at Celebration, but then we're going to see it in front of Avengers. Yeah. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's what's probably going to happen.
Both of those things are in April, so that makes
Here-
sense.
What was the cycle on the first time seeing the Solo trailer and then Solo coming out, because they felt like it was like a month.
It was quick. I think it was 6 months. I want to say. I want to say
6 months?
I think they showed that and also we got a trailer for episode 7.
Christmas.
We got a trailer a year before the movie came out.
But that was also them trying to get the hype machine in full swing.
In full swing, yeah.
They knew everyone
Gotta
was
sell those toys, baby.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that was a reveal for that. And then I think prior to that, it was Revenge of the Sith at Comic-Con. And like, yeah,
interesting. Oh, okay.
But that's before Disney got its tendrils / claws
into
the
everything.
franchise.
Yeah, that's
Jesus
true.
Christ.
Yeah, Comic-Con doesn't seem to matter much anymore for trailer reveals.
Well,
Used to be a big thing.
Well, Star Wars has its own celebration now. The internet's more of a thing. Like, things are going to leak no matter what. So why try to contain these things? I don't know. I mean, we already know it's going to be called World War Wookiee. So
Star Wars Triple W.
If we can all act surprised when it happens, that'd be great.
What are the rumors, Dan?
So yeah, there's a bunch of stupid titles for this movie.
There are a bunch.
Son of Darkness. I guess referring to Kylo Ren.
S-O-N?
SONNE.
There's the New Order. I guess opposite of the First Order.
Yeah.
The Knights of Ren, or the Order of Ren.
No, not going
No, referring to
No, they want to go deep lore.
Yeah, that's too inside. It's way too inside.
Yeah, it's like how lightsabers are made. Or
Well, that's like, I guess that's the Boba Fett, or one of the Boba Fetts of this series, is like people glomming on to some like line that existed and thinking there's this cool thing there, and someone just dashed it off.
I was speaking of it's the return
concept
of
art.
Dash Rendar.
yeah, that's right. It's Star Wars and the Adventures of Dash Rendar and his weird ship.
Oh, wow.
Weird ship and robot friend. He's not a Wookiee.
Really rolls off the tongue.
That's not Han Solo.
Well, speaking of Dash Rendar, Shadow of the Empire, I guess, is a rumored title.
Oh,
sure.
They've used that already.
Why would they use a title that? Who's pitching these? Are these yours, Dan?
No, these are from the internet.
Oh my God, the internet sucks.
Dear Kathleen Kennedy,
They're
if
like,
you're
what about Return of the Jedi? That'd be a good title.
Returner,
The Rebellion Reborn.
Oh my God, that sounds terrible.
That's a
These people
mouthful.
have never come up with a title in their life.
So this is what happened when they revealed Kylo Ren's look, and everyone, it's Darth Revan, and they're like, no, it's not. It will never be anything you've ever read in a book.
Yeah.
It might be loosely associated, but they burned that thing down.
Have
You know,
guys-
Snoke is actually the guy, Darth Sidious.
Darth Plagueis?
Plagueis. He was referring, Plagueis is dead.
Yeah, Snoke is dead.
No, he got cut in half by accident.
Have you guys seen the reaction of Ewan McGregor to finding out it's Star Wars: The Phantom Menace? It's Star Wars: Attack of the Clones.
No.
Then they tell him because he didn't know.
Oh, the title?
Yeah, they go, "Hey, it's Star Wars: Attack of the Clones." He goes, "Really?" Like that. He goes, "Well, they can call it anything." Like that.
Ewan McGregor's the best thing about
it's really funny. It's really funny.
He rode away on his motorcycle and fucked some hot chick.
Dude, it's hilarious.
I mean, what's her face? Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
Yeah, that's
who
what he's fucking right
I
now.
don't follow
nice.
his life.
He broke up with his
for
wife
him.
for her. They love each other.
His daughter's not happy about it.
Star Wars Balance of the Force is a front runner.
Garbage title.
That's the one that sounds a little
Garbage
more
of the
realistic.
title.
It's not very good.
You can't have Force Jedi Force
No?
because Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're
You
saying.
can't overdo it.
Yeah. Awakens
Yeah,
of the
that's true.
Jedi.
You're right.
Yeah. It's got to
That's
be.
a good point. That's a good point.
It's got to be Revenge of, or Return of, or
It's going to be Star Wars War of the Stars.
Return to Endor.
Ashes of the Empire. A Spark of Hope.
I hate it.
Star Wars The Chosen One.
I hate all these.
That's terrible.
Revenge of the Jedi.
No. There's no, because Jedi don't get revenge. That's why they changed it initially.
Yes. Legacy of the Force.
No.
Adam says they can't use Force twice.
Can't use Force.
The Rebellion Reborn.
No.
Yeah. The Last Hope, or A Final Hope, which would mirror
No, last
New
and
Hope.
last.
Yeah, you can't do Last Jedi, Last Hope.
So then,
Maybe Later Hope.
What, like
what's
later
another
Hosen?
word for last?
The Last is Hope.
It's going to be the final something.
The Final Skywalker?
No.
No. The Last Skywalker.
The Final Jedi?
No, it's Jedi's too much.
What about
It's going to be the final, like the final something, like the final legacy. Or
Frontier.
the Final Force?
the final frontier, they need the card. Yeah.
The Return of the Binks?
Star Wars Quest for Peace.
That'd be good.
Right.
Oh, wait. Star Trek Generations.
Oh, that'd be
Nice, yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Get Malcolm McDowell back.
Star Wars Insurrection.
That's actually pretty cool.
Star Wars Borgs.
It's going to be one word. I think it's going to be one word.
No, it's
then it
going
would
to
just
be.
be balance. If it was one word, it would just be balance.
But no, it has to be like insurrection. It's going to be something that is like a verb.
Star Wars
is like a word you don't hear all the time, but it like
They've never done one
immediately
word,
conveys.
though.
They've never done one
Yeah,
word.
hold on,
before.
wait. Phantom Menace. So
Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith,
A New Hope. A New Hope. It wasn't New Hope.
Star Wars: A New Hope.
Is it A New Hope?
I think it's A New
I think
Hope.
it's
Yeah,
A.
Or it's A New Hope.
Empire Strikes Back,
Empire Strikes His
Return
Wife.
of the Jedi.
Jedi,
Oh.
Force Awakens, Last Jedi.
I got
It's going to be one word.
Like
You think?
final.
Yeah.
It's not going to be one word.
So that
You're
way
crazy.
it just
It's
goes
3 words.
SW colon then that letter.
Phantom
And it'll be a
Pain.
letter we haven't seen before.
Star Wars: Insurrection.
Yes, that's it. That's the one.
Rise of the Lycans.
Bring
Blood
that one
Wars?
out. I love it. What?
Blood Wars.
Sure.
Blood
Yeah, Blood
Wars.
Wars, yeah.
That's a good
Star Wars Underworld.
It could be like
Across the universe.
Star Wars. No, not Civil War. That's stupid.
What if it's just
What?
mind
You got
blown?
it. You got it.
What if they just call it Star Wars?
Oh,
Star Wars,
okay.
Star
No
Wars?
subtitle.
If it,
No,
what
you
if,
said
what
this
if,
about Xbox before and you were
what if
wrong.
it just says what if that happens? It goes Star Wars and everyone waits and it's nothing. They go, oh, this could be the last one.
No,
This is it.
The last one. Yeah.
I mean, originally the first Star Wars was called just Star Wars.
Yeah, that's because there weren't 1,000 of them.
I know because they're when they put it out, they're like,
No one's ever going to watch
yeah, no one-
this.
no one-
there's a dude in a
yeah.
monkey suit and a guy with a horrific Scottish accent going, "Where are the Death Star plans?"
That's right. That's
The
what
guy with the
happened.
boom mic was like,
I don't know what movie he was watching.
you
but-
talking about?
"No, the David Prowse or whatever, the guy in the
Who,
suit."
Darth
Oh.
Vader.
It was the
Darth
When he
Scottish
was doing
guy.
it, he was like, it's like, I didn't know where the plans are,
Right.
and we got to, and then you could see his eyes through the thing, and everyone's like, this sucks. This sucks bad.
Saved in the edit.
3PO's bleeding because he immediately put on his suit and cut his leg open.
Oh, what's his face? The dwarf and the
Kenny
3PO?
Baker?
Kenny Baker, they would leave him in there.
He just forgot him that one time.
No, it was constant.
What are we gonna?
George Lucas would do that to punish him because he kept missing his lines.
Star Wars: Ghost of the Force.
stay
I
in
don't
there.
know. I'm really trying to think.
Star
of it.
Wars Ghosts.
Star Wars Ghosts.
Star Wars Wildlands.
Ghost Recon.
I
Is there
guess.
any more, Dan?
No, I mean, that was what I
Those are the
spent
good ones?
5,
Okay.
10 minutes looking. And
Ray
that's what I came up
Rises.
Ray Rises.
I think Balance of the Force is probably the front runner, or the one that makes the most sense.
I think it's going to be
thematically.
I think it's going to be Rise of the Planet of the something.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Planet.
Dawn
of
of the Planet of the Apes.
They're probably looking at it like if the monkeys can get away with it. We can get two of those in there in the title.
I tend to think that James is right about the one word, but I'm trying to think of one word that
Because
would,
we don't know, because we're too dumb. We don't have that kind of vocabulary. We'd have to go through a thesaurus. We could find some good words.
Yeah. Porgsborg.
Because I guarantee you what they're doing, those executives are doing, they're sitting there going, what's Star Wars thinking? What's Star Wars thinking?
Dan read the list and they're all terrible.
Well, but that's not,
Those
those are
like-
fans.
Those are hypotheses.
Except for the Balance one. Someone claims to have found that somewhere.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure it's
buried
just
in
written on a
code.
post-it somewhere that someone had
I'm
access to.
going to throw this one out there. I think they fucked up.
What?
I think they should have called the third one The Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, they
And
should.
the second one, this probably would have been better if The Last Jedi was called like The Balance or whatever.
Well-
Because it seemed to be tackling more of those issues. I mean, it tackled a bunch of stuff.
Well, it could be like it could be the first something. This episode 9 could be the first because if that was the Last Jedi, they may have then planned it to be the first.
Rise of the Machines.
Genesis.
I can't believe a movie's called Rise of the Machines.
And think about the fact that it was called Rise of the Machines and the one after it was worse. That's my favorite
Terrible.
thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Salvation.
Yeah.
One word.
Salvation was
That's one word.
that was supposed to be the savior.
Bruce and I are going to go through our thesaurus and we're going to
figure
get
it
some
out.
good words.
Resolution.
That's too clear.
yeah.
It's like it has to be like insurrection. Star Trek Insurrection came out and people are like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But it seems to be an action verb.
And it wouldn't be Star Wars Rebellion because that doesn't make any sense.
I don't. Yeah, it always has
Isn't
to be.
there already a show called that?
Star Wars
Yeah,
Rebels.
Rebels.
Is called.
Maybe like Star Wars like symbiosis or something.
Oh,
Star
there we
Wars
go.
Venom.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Yeah, man, who knows?
Who
I,
knows?
I guess
Hey,
at,
it's Gavin's explosion.
at the end of the day, though, sort of my issues with The Last Jedi, I felt that name was kind of misleading
Why?
because there really was no Last Jedi.
Wasn't that Luke?
No,
was
because
a
at the end
tree.
of the movie they said, "Yeah, fuck it, the kid with the broom's a Jedi too."
Oh.
Well, it's
Well, no,
because
Well, he has
the
the Force. It doesn't make him
Doesn't
a
mean
Jedi.
he's a Jedi.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he might be a Sith.
Yeah.
could be.
Could be.
Or I don't know, man.
witch?
I don't know what that movie was trying to tell
Everyone
me.
has mini
Most people
chlorians.
don't.
That's what
I
it was
don't know
telling
that.
us.
you use that that Lady Remington or whatever Qui-Gon had.
Star Wars midi-chlorians.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. There, that's it.
Oh, Boss Nass's revenge.
Boss Nass was an ally. Doesn't make any sense.
But what happened to him, Bruce?
Yeah. What happened to Boss
I
Nass?
actually don't know what happened to Boss Nass.
Where's Jacob?
There's I saw an old clip. It was the opening of Star Tours back in the day, like the original one. And Michael Eisner is he had to look at his cue card 3 times to say C-3PO, and he still got it wrong.
What? Really?
He's like, come on out here, C4, C. Hey, you see George Lucas. George Lucas is standing there. He's like,
How did he not know?
Come on out here, gay robot.
he got like one of the most important franchises in his conglomerate of a park, and he was like, I can't be bothered.
Doesn't matter.
This nerd shit.
Man.
I'm rich and I love New York.
That's what he said.
He's a monster. Anyway.
All right. So we
Sorry.
figured out the title. That's good.
So on other title news, they released recently James Bond's production name title, which they think might lead to more info on who the villain or the subject matter might be. But a lot of times movies will have nicknames just to throw people off the scent. This one is going to be called Shatterhand, which, James, you're the resident
Yeah.
What do you
James
think?
Bond expert. What does that mean?
Nothing.
Okay.
It means
I think
nothing?
It's just a production title.
You don't think it has anything to do with like the villain or that you can think of in Bond?
Doctor No
Oh, that's right.
has like a weird hand, I think.
Oh.
And then there's also the guy from Live and Let Die who has the claw.
We're gonna get
Is
Clawman.
he the Claw?
No, I don't know what his name is,
That's
but he's
Inspector
like the
Gadget.
thug for Big Boss or whatever the guy's
They
name
didn't sort
is.
of downplaying the weird villain, right? Because they had Cry Blood,
Uh-huh.
and then
Well, no, because the last
Cry
one,
Blood.
Spectre had
Bad
Blofeld.
Face,
Well, that's what they were
Yeah.
saying Shatterhand refers to Blofeld, but
but he's dead.
No.
I think.
I don't think
he died.
They
He
just
died.
arrested him at the end.
Oh.
And actually, that was
Okay.
one of the things I was hoping for more Daniel Craig Bond, because I think Christoph Waltz was setting up to be a really cool
He was Blofeld,
villain.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was obvious he was Blofeld. It was like it was the same thing that happened with the second Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
like
yeah.
J.J. Abrams was like, no,
It's
he's not
not
Khan.
Khan.
Yeah.
He's not. You can't make me say otherwise. And then the movie goes Khan, and he's like, well, but you can guess.
To be fair, though, I mean, come on. Why?
But it was weird how they were like, no, Christoph Waltz, he's not Blofeld. He's not Blofeld. He just leads the same organization that Blofeld led in the other movies, and his last name is Blofeld.
and he's credited as second lead on the
But
film.
I think that he was really cool in that movie, and it was kind of a shame that it ended with kind of a fart noise of
Yeah.
James Bond going like, no, I want to have a girlfriend.
a really young one too.
Yeah, really young French girlfriend.
He's like, I killed your father, and I'm gonna bang you. And he's gonna watch from heaven or hell. Makes no difference to me.
I don't care. Anyway, take off your clothes.
You're probably a one and done anyway, so let's move on. He's kind of an asshole.
I guess in previous iterations, Blofeld has changed his face, and they've recast him.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, they recast him? It's not Christoph Waltz.
well,
Oh no! But in previous James Bonds, I
Different
think there are
iterations.
three actors that portray Blofeld.
because he
But
changed
one
his
is
face.
also just a guy in a wheelchair shot from far away and from behind, because Roger Moore. So Blofeld is introduced during the Sean Connery Bond,
okay.
and then he is recast when they hired the next guy. Fuck, what's his name? The Australian?
Not Roger Moore.
No.
Tony
Timothy
Savalas.
What? What'd you say?
Tony Savalas. I know he
No.
was Blofeld
Timothy
once.
Dalton?
No. The second Bond. The Australian guy who did one movie
Oh,
on
I
Her
don't know.
Majesty's
I don't know.
Secret Service.
You would know.
Why can't I remember his name?
You would know.
Anyway, they recast him for that, and then he was kind of more of like an antagonistic villain, and then he killed George Lazenby.
Oh, okay.
And then he killed James Bond's wife. But then George Lazenby's like, this sucked. I don't want to do this anymore. So then Sean Connery was like, well, if you pay me enough, I'll come back. So then he brought Sean Connery back for Diamonds Are Forever. And they basically were like, all right, let's just pick up where that one left off. And then he's going to fight after Blofeld, which then they recast Blofeld again. And then that kind of got swept under when Sean Connery left. They recast Roger Moore, and then Roger Moore just at the start, like the cold open for one of his movies is that like he goes to his wife's grave, and then he basically is like getting attacked. He goes to get in a helicopter, but then the helicopter gets taken over by Blofeld, who's in a wheelchair, like controlling it. He's like, "This is it, Mr. Bond." But then Roger Moore takes control of the helicopter, finds Blofeld, picks him up in the wheelchair on the hook of the helicopter, and then dumps him into a giant like nuclear pipe or whatever.
That's awesome.
And then they're like,
It's
well,
pretty
that's it, he's
absurd.
dead. That's how he resolved that.
Oh, wow.
So there's like a bunch of different Blofelds.
I like how James Bond. It's a equal opportunity murderer.
Whether or not you're disabled or normal, we're gonna kill you.
It's also funny because James Bond woke up that morning thinking, I'm just going to go to my wife's grave.
Yeah.
And then by 11 a.m., he's dumping a guy in a wheelchair into a nuclear exhaust pipe. But as far as what Shatterhand means, I don't know that that's necessarily a reference. It seems like if that's their production nickname that they would make public,
Oh yeah, that's
they
true.
that seems silly that they would
Allude to something.
allude to something
This is
crucial
the one
about it.
This is one Danny Boyle was going to do and then walked away from. So they said, "Well, rewrite that one." So.
Yep.
Yeah, but they got the guy from True Detective.
Pizzolatto?
No, the
director.
guy
What's
who's
his name?
the director.
Fukunawa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who did Maniac and stuff.
Should be cool.
He also wrote the first draft of It, right?
Yes, he was going to make that movie
Yeah.
at one point.
He had some
I'm
dark shit in
interested
there.
to see what he's going to do with that. And I still like Daniel Craig as a James Bond. So
This will be his last one.
probably. I think this
Okay.
is technically the last one in his contract.
It should end with him dumping someone into some sort of volcano or something.
In a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair, yeah.
I hope-
Unrelated.
I hope it doesn't end with like closure for him. I feel like they, for some reason, need to feel compelled to do that.
Did they do that with Pierce
No.
Brosnan?
No. He's like, I'm going to bang Halle Berry. I'll be back next week. And
Yeah.
then just
He wasn't
stopped
back.
back.
Yeah, just stop.
Then he aged 300 years somehow within like a small span. Where he was like, I'm done with that franchise.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get old.
Yeah.
Go be in Mamma Mia's.
But I'm excited. Do you know what the scheduled release date is for
No.
Shatterhand?
I don't.
No? Well, all right then.
Yeah, I would
I wanna
assume
see it. I'm
next
excited.
summer.
The only problem is every time a
They
new
haven't even
James Bond
started
movie
shooting.
comes out, I look at my giant Blu-ray James Bond collection and think, well, this is worthless.
Yeah.
21 movies. This is worthless now. Where am I supposed to shove the other ones in here somewhere? Probably got to not even own a disc.
April 2020, supposedly, but that seems
in
pretty
time for my
soon.
birthday.
Yeah, that's them guessing. That's like when I used to go on IMDb in high school, and they'd be like, "Batman Beyond movie scheduled for 2002," and I'm like, starring Brad Pitt. I'm like, "Oh, these are user submitted. I
These
see.
are all made up.
Gotcha. These are not official release dates. Fantastic."
You got to do an ad read, yeah?
Nice. Good. That's seamless transition.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought we were going to talk about some Pikachu first.
No.
I noticed you were
been
trying to
40
push that
minutes.
on us. Yeah.
Bruce,
I'm just.
you're Russian.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm just kidding. I guess if you guys have been watching any of our podcasts for a while, you'll know that we actually all love Mack Weldon. Mack Weldon is a modern men's essentials brand that believes in premium fabrics, smart design, and simple shopping. Mack Weldon makes men's essentials elevated by technical innovation. These will be the most comfortable underwear, socks, shirts, undershirts, and sweats that you will ever wear. I truly treasure the days when I put on a clean pair of Macks in the morning. They can improve my attitude for the whole day. Designed for daily wear, Mack Weldon's products don't just look good, they perform well too. You can wear them on weekends when you're bumming around the house, to work when you're making some paper, or outdoors when you take your dog on a hike. Mack Weldon features a try-on guarantee. If you don't like your first pair of underwear, you can keep it and still receive a full refund. They offer free shipping on all orders over $50 and free returns always. Mack Weldon's silver line of underwear, shirts, and socks are naturally antimicrobial, which means they eliminate odor, keeping you fresher for longer. The Funhaus office is proof. You can lift weights at lunch in your Mack Weldons and not offend your office mates. So go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off your entire first order using promo code FilmHouse20. Promo code FilmHouse20 for 20% off your first order at MackWeldon.com. So thanks again, Mack Weldon, for bringing us here this week to talk about movies. We really appreciate it. This is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Don Quixote movie that's finally coming out. Yeah. Terry Gilliam was making this for years. Yeah. And it's just a troubled production. They even made a movie about how hard the last time it was he tried to make it. Yeah. Anyway, they just released a trailer. It's kind of weird, though. It's only going to be in theaters for one day, supposedly, on April 10th.
Really?
One night. It's kind of strange. I don't know how they're going to make their money back.
Is
on
it going to Netflix or something?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Last I had heard, he made the movie, but had not secured the rights to actually release it.
Yeah, well, one of the
Like-
guys that originally financed the first version had some sort of rights over the release,
Yeah.
and he just dismissed that guy.
Yeah.
And then he won a court battle in France that's really held up the release of this film.
Wow.
So
Dirty French. Always get what they want.
yeah.
It's monsters.
But yeah, the Oscars has really actually been what's dominating the news for good reasons and bad. Did any of y'all watch the Oscars?
At the end.
I watched most of it, almost the whole thing.
I know.
None of it. What did they do for an announcer? It was just the announcer, the VO.
Yeah, I mean, I
that-
didn't notice that there was no person
No
there
host.
at all.
Okay.
It just would go to the next category, and I was like, yeah, that's what, I mean, otherwise it's just someone introducing someone who's going to introduce something.
Right,
It honestly did show how redundant it was.
There was an awkward part where Julia Roberts came out and she introduced.
But she did Best Picture.
Yeah, she did.
She came out and did Best Picture, and then I cut back to her and she was still on stage. She's like, okay, don't forget to validate. Go home. And I was like, why is old Chompers up there? Like, tell me what to do.
Well, I mean, Best Picture is normally like they just find some sort of Hollywood royalty because
Yeah.
the other categories are generally the people who were last year are now the ones who are.
But because there was
Like-
no host, she just stayed up on stage
Right.
while half of the Fairley brothers were getting their award for a movie I didn't
Pulling
see.
their dicks
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and I think at one point he was like, and I want to thank, and people were like, your mic's off. And then he was like, what? Oh, I guess my mic's off.
They did do that a lot, I noticed.
Yeah.
If people went overly long, instead of playing them up with the music, they just turned the mic off, which is almost infinitely more awkward.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
really weird.
Yeah, 'cause they
Pretty
didn't take
awful
away
to
their
do.
ability to talk.
They would just turn their mic off?
Yeah, it just blows my mind that we live in a world where if the Super Bowl goes into 3 overtimes, TV can figure it out.
Yeah.
We're push.
Yeah.
But the Oscar, if one person at the Oscars wants to make a speech that goes 15 seconds over, they're like, get the they throw a firebomb down at their feet. How dare you? We have to more commercials.
George
We have
Clooney
do
needs
more
to go to
commercials,
bed.
Don't you understand?
Do you know why? Because nobody watches it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
Well, they're
now-
trying to get the runtime down. Their theory is that no one watches it because it was almost 4 hours
No,
long.
it's because it's
Was it
a big-
almost 4 hours this year?
Last year's was 3:45 or something.
What was
like
this year? Was it?
was like
It must have been
3:10.
less, right?
It didn't
Yeah.
feel
It was a lot
long.
less.
I mean, it feels like whatever.
Holy shit.
But the thing is, it's a big jerk off.
Yeah, it always
I love films, but it's always been a jerk off.
Yeah.
The Academy Awards only exist because a bunch of studios didn't want to pay actors and directors and writers more money.
That's true.
So they thought
awards.
maybe if we give them awards every year, they'll feel more legitimate in their craft, and then then we won't have to pay them more.
But yeah, it was also anti-union. So like
Yeah.
when it was formed in 1927, they formed a union of people to keep down unions for the crew and the creative people, essentially.
Oh, they cut out his dick. But there's still like watching it now as someone who loves movies and thinks it would be really cool to someday be there at the Oscars. It's such a big self jerk off, and I could understand anyone who just watches films casually, just like, oh, what's this poster? I'll go see Avengers, sure. Like, why would you ever be interested? Especially all the commercials are all movie, like they're like, quiet on the set. Do you need Bengay for your armpits or whatever? And I'm like, who is this for? Is this like
That's the
a
problem.
bunch of
I don't think
grips
they
and
know.
stuff are only watching TV one day out of the year?
That's been the problem for the Academy Awards for years. Is
Yeah.
that in the last 10 to 15 years, they keep adding awards also. So they're adding more categories. They're adding longer amount of nominations. So then the show gets longer and people are watching it less.
I think it's
I think,
really.
I think they're just trying stuff. They're throwing
They
stuff
are,
out there,
they are,
just
yeah.
like what'll
Yeah.
click with people. And at first they thought they were going to do a most popular film award this year, I guess, and they dropped that plan at some
Yeah.
point.
I don't know.
I agree with most of what James is saying. At the same time, when Spider-Man wins an Academy Award, I go, yeah. I'm like, it's legitimate now. We did it. Or like, I thought it was silly that Black Panther. I thought it was sort of like it was an appeasement. It wasn't they weren't actually nominating it for any of its merits. I thought it
for
was
Best Picture?
Yeah, I thought it was them just saying like, we're just trying to get more people to watch our stuff.
I think that's
But
it.
I was like, when like Chris Evans is up there and he's like, fuck yeah. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah.
no, it's
like,
cool.
cool, man. So
Yeah.
it's like, I get it. I like to see my friends win stuff.
Yeah.
So in the same way, when there's things that I enjoy win awards, seeing Lady Gaga holding an Oscar, I was like, yeah, do
cool.
it. I didn't know what it was for. I just saw her holding one.
Jello.
I actually did
Mark
not know
Ronson
this, but
also won an Oscar.
Really? He's
He
great.
co-wrote it with him.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's fantastic.
I actually saw a friend of mine win an Oscar, which
Yeah.
is pretty amazing. Got me a
wow.
little teary-eyed. You were saying you like when you see someone's friends win. But it's pretty amazing. I didn't even know he was up for it. But
friends with Bradley
seeing him walk
Cooper.
up on stage and hold an Oscar it's pretty spectacular. Even though I'm also pretty cynical about the awards themselves.
But it's still neat to see.
I think it's cool to celebrate movies.
Yeah.
It is weird when it's such a massive industry and it's kind of celebrated with them getting a ton of money. But in situations like Spider-Man, where it did okay at the box office, it kind of got like steamrolled by Aquaman in a lot of ways.
No.
And everyone's like, this is one of the best movies of the year. It's really nice that it comes out and goes, it is.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Well, I know way more people saw Wreck-It Ralph, but this one's way better. So it is nice that does feel like a consensus. That being said, it's still, watching it, you're like, who the fuck picked this shit? Like, I rant about it, but like Paddington 2, best movies I saw this year were probably Paddington 2, Death of Stalin, which wasn't nominated for anything, which is absurd. Screenplay, come on. And then Spider-Man. And so...
Give me Spider-Verse. Right.
Yeah, Spider-Verse.
Was Isle of Dogs nominated?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Best Animated. It was nominated for Best Animation and Best Score, I recall.
Isle of Dogs is great.
And Isle of Dogs is great. Unfortunately, it was in a category up against Spider-Verse, and I gotta kind of
No,
go
you gotta get to Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse on that one.
It's way better movie.
The way I feel though is that I thought Spider-Verse it went beyond just being an animated movie. I thought it was just
It
best.
did.
I thought it was best feature.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Like for me, I was like, this has everything a great movie should have.
Well, I mean, that's why when you watch the Oscars, the less it kind of makes sense, because you're like, well, Spider-Man has to be in this category, but Roma is in foreign language and Best Picture.
Yeah.
Also, what the fuck does foreign language mean? Like, I'm glad Alfonso Cuarón in his speech called attention to the fact that it didn't make any sense as a category.
Not in English,
Nope.
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, but
That's
it
what they're
should
going
like
for.
international film, sure, but like I don't know, when you're gonna shoot most of Avengers in Botswana
Romania or
anyway, it
whatever.
doesn't matter. Like, what does it matter? I don't know. It's just weird categories, and then it's like it was the best foreign language movie, but it wasn't the best movie. But it had the best director, but it wasn't the best movie. You know, like I don't know.
What are you gonna do?
And then I also think Green Book winning Best Picture is kind of another statement on how Hollywood, in a lot, not to be one of those people that shits on Hollywood and its association with politics, but it wants to be seen as like, hey, take us seriously when we talk about social and political issues.
wanna be progressive.
But honestly, we are going to use the softest mitts we ever can to really convey those. Because like Green Book, I thought was good. I just watched it yesterday.
It's a fine film.
I think it's
got
good.
it's got a good message, but
I was saying to Dan, it'd be like though if maybe Terminal won Best Picture.
Oh, really? Jeez.
You know, like I don't think Terminal is a bad movie.
The Terminal with Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Wow.
like
it's something you can
just kinda-
comfortably watch with your grandparents.
It's,
Oh, okay.
it's lighthearted. Performances are great. Mahershala Ali is
Yeah.
great. Viggo
Viggo's
Mortensen is
great.
great.
Yeah.
But the movie as a whole is kind of okay.
Well, that's
It's like a
you know,
Hallmark film.
It's very much a soft take on racism in the U.S. during that time period.
I did
Whereas I was saying to Dan, it's weird when there was another movie there which was like a harder take.
Oh,
Black Klansman
Yeah.
on racism in the U.S. during that time period. And so, but they were like, maybe
one-
we should go with a softer one
Yeah,
because
that-
it feels better, you know.
Well,
like,
it's the same with like Slumdog Millionaire when that won.
Yeah.
That was like a really happy-go-lucky, like, you know, there's a lot of adversity and progressiveness in the film, but also at the end, it's like everybody wins, right?
Yeah.
And that makes sense why it was Best Picture because it's happy.
Yeah, good movies. It's just tough when there's ultimately always going to be good movies that are left out. Also, Rami Malek winning Best Actor.
We joked about it and then it happened.
I wasn't joking. If you can do an impression of a notable cultural figure, you will get it.
Dylan.
Now, if people are going to go, what about Christian Bale? He lost. Sorry, Dick Cheney is not a cultural figure.
Well, also,
What?
Hollywood
What do you
hates
mean?
Dick Cheney.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah.
they're
still-
never going to give anything to Dick Cheney.
So Sean Penn lost for Harvey Milk, right? Which everyone said was an amazing performance, but it wasn't a cultural. He's not a cultural figure. He's not something that people
Not
go,
for you,
okay, they
James.
can muster in their head and
that's
go.
true.
But Daniel Day-Lewis won for Lincoln because Lincoln is a caricature.
I always wonder how much of it is about likability, because I've seen people say before they're like, "Oh, like Christian Bale's terrible as that character. I hated. I could not stand.
I think you were supposed to hate him.
Yeah, I couldn't
right?
stand Dick Cheney. He was a terrible person." And you're like, "Then he did a great fucking job."
that was the
They're
point.
like, "Oh, but I didn't like him." So it's like, just say you just like the thing, because you can't tell what's real and what's not, and you're insane.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's like, I loved Heath Ledger as the Joker. I didn't like what he did in the movie.
plenty of
he
people
burned
do
all
that.
that money.
Yeah, but I loved his character.
He also left that dude on the top of the stack of money.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They never got him down.
But yeah.
Well, I guess it's interesting. You were mentioning this, but I looked into it. The way the Best Picture voting works is different than every other category, where whoever gets the most votes wins. And for Best Picture, you rank your opinions of the films, like 1 through 8, I guess it was this
okay,
year.
I see what you're saying.
So if 50% of those number 1 votes are for a movie, then that person wins. But if it's not, they go to whoever has the least votes. Whichever film has the least votes, take all those ballots and re-award those to whatever that person chose as the second film. And they do this over and over until a film has 50% of the vote plus 1 vote. So that's how
That's really interesting.
people might have voted another movie more number 1, but that didn't actually win.
It's basically, let me put it in terms for people to understand. You're playing Apex Legends.
Yeah.
And you get no kills, but you hide the whole time.
Sure.
And you win as champion because one guy on your squad gets an accidental headshot at the very end, and you're the champion. But the guy that was shot in the head, he had 10 kills and was
So he was better.
he was way better.
Better at the game.
Way better at the game.
But didn't win.
Because he didn't play it as safe.
Got it.
So theoretically, if you just stay on the island long enough, in the Best Picture, getting rid of them,
Right.
you theoretically can
It sounds
win.
like the most people liked Green Book. Of
The most people liked it.
Well, that could have been
but
second or third.
The most people didn't necessarily think it was the best, which
the-
is a weird thing.
But the most people ranked it higher.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I know a way people vote typically is they usually don't see everything
Yep.
and they don't
Yes.
really weigh
Yes.
all the nominees, and they go, which one have I heard about?
Yeah.
And then they go, I pick that one.
Which one have I heard about that isn't controversial?
Well, Green Book is full of controversy as it happens, but
I don't know that the movie itself, though, is
Does it
controversial.
resolve it though?
Spike Lee didn't like it. Not his cup of tea.
Really? Spike Lee didn't like
it's
that.
not my cup of tea.
Oh, that was another thing that people were pointing out too. That I like the Oscars just because you get all this. It's basically like all this information about things all at the same time. But Spike Lee, the last time he was nominated for Best Picture, or one of his movies was nominated for Best Picture,
He got
He
gamed?
lost
To Driving
to
Miss Daisy.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, that's right. And so he
And
lost.
so now he
another
lost
driving movie,
to
right?
a movie which is the same premise
Yeah.
but flipped.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, his quote was, "I'm snake bit," which I love. I don't know who says
snake
snake
bit. I don't
bit.
I don't
Spike
know.
Lee does.
He says they switched the seating arrangement from Driving Miss Daisy. I don't know. Spike Lee is a controversial guy.
Yeah, he's wild. He made a good movie.
Yeah, he
Old boy?
gave
Yeah.
a lot of people news stories for that. Apparently, after Green Book was announced the winner, he tried to march out of the room in
Yeah.
a huff,
He tried to leave.
and they wouldn't let him. And I guess Jordan Peele calmed him down.
Oh, really? Jeez. Wow.
Man, such cool friends, right?
I was gonna say, Spike Lee, don't worry. You're a great filmmaker.
He's not listening to you. He hates you.
Fuck.
Yeah, go watch Do the Right Thing. That's an amazing film.
Wow.
Way better than Black Klansman. But
Way
Wow.
better, huh?
Wow,
Okay.
look at that.
Wow,
Huh?
way better.
Way better.
have you seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah.
I saw it a long time ago.
It's a great movie.
Okay.
Actually, my biggest ish with Green Book was the Italian hit on pimento cheese. Fucking love pimento cheese. And in that movie, Vigo takes a big bite of a pimento cheese sandwich and spits it out. And I want you all out there to know that pimento cheese is awesome. It's not terrible.
He doesn't speak for you.
I wasn't crazy
does.
about the part where Mahershala Ali, his character is a musician, and he goes, "I'm a musician," and then Viggo Mortensen goes, "Like songs and stuff."
Here's your award.
I was like, what other?
What else could it be?
Hot take for you, real quick. My favorite Spike Lee movie, Inside Man or
Okay.
Inside
It's a good movie,
Job.
too. It's a
or-
good
Nice.
movie.
He's so good
He
you don't
doesn't-
even
he doesn't
remember.
know the title.
It was Inside Man, right?
Inside Man. I think.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
And I remember at the end, directed by Spike Lee. I'm like, really?
It's so good. I Netflixed it 3 times because I forgot that I saw it. And I always wanted to see it again. So I watched it, sent it back, and I was like, I want to watch Inside Man. So I brought it back, started it, and went, I've already seen this. And I did it again.
Did you watch it again?
No.
Does it
no.
hold up?
What?
Does it hold up?
Oh, I only saw it the one time. I stopped it both times
Yeah,
when I
'cause you're
started
like,
it again.
"Oh, I remember
'Cause
this."
I was like, I've already seen this.
It's just one of those movies I thought was like just forgotten with the rest of the 2000s. Whereas
That's good.
like Born Supremacy, you go, oh yeah, that came out too. That's a pretty good movie.
One last thing though, hope for us if we ever want to have a career in Hollywood.
Oh, right.
Peter Farrelly
Yeah.
invented a character who's mentally handicapped who runs around screaming Franks and beans.
Yeah, something about Mary.
Yeah.
Not too long
Me,
ago.
myself, and Irene.
Dumb and Dumber.
A lot of
Osmosis
crass
Jones.
Movie
Oh, hold on. There's
42.
nothing wrong with Osmosis Jones.
What Peter
There's nothing wrong with Dumb and Dumber.
Movie 34 or whatever.
Yeah,
it was?
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
43.
One of the worst movies ever,
Yeah.
apparently.
Wow.
But I mean, that movie, that's barely even counts. That was like some experiment that they were fucking doing. But
Wow.
yes, all garbage, very crass. And look at him.
Yeah,
Academy
look at him
Award
now.
winner.
We're moving up.
Well, no.
Not yet.
Also,
No, no,
also, like I said before, you could do anything in the 90s.
Yeah,
It's not the 90s
shit.
anymore.
True.
Everything we're doing is on record.
I mean, his is too.
This is too. They're movies.
Yeah.
I know, but you can go, but the time.
What
And
about
then-
us? But the time.
There's a part where Randy Quaid comes out, or no, sorry, Randy Quaid's working as an Amish guy in Kingpin, and Woody Harrelson comes up and he was like, "No, I don't need any milk. I got some milk from the cow," and he starts drinking and he goes, "We don't have a cow. We have a bull," and he realizes he's drinking a giant thing of semen and he spits it out because he doesn't know what udders versus a penis
That's funny.
looks like.
That's funny.
Clever stuff.
I like that.
I love Fairly movies.
me
Don't get
too.
me wrong, but not exactly okay in this day and age.
Yes, they are.
I guess they are.
Nothing wrong with a character named Seabass sexually assaulting a man named Lloyd Christmas in a 7-Eleven bathroom, I guess.
Oh well.
This movie was generic as hell. What would you have awarded Best Picture to, James?
I mean, out of the ones that were like nominated,
Yeah. No Paddington 2 right in.
yeah, I don't know.
No write-in.
I mean, I did really like A Star Is Born. I don't know if I would have gone Best Picture. That's tough.
Did you see The Favorite?
I guess Roma.
That's
It was
what,
the
I,
best. It was the best
Roma?
movie.
that's what I would have said. No.
I think
Although I didn't see Star Is Born, and I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Because I think I would have liked it.
Star Is Born. I really love Star Is Born, but I will also admit that it's that type of movie where creatives are like, God, it's just being a creative is just. It's such a burden
I know.
to entertain, and it's very much up its own ass about that. And if, like, I don't know, I can understand that being a wall for people to getting over and be like, who gives a shit? Fuck off. Like,
What is the fifth time they've made that movie? Just a little generic, in my opinion. I thought the performances were incredible.
yeah, I mean, the
But-
performances are what carry it.
It's kind of
me.
paint by numbers.
That's a good
There
point.
Yeah,
wasn't a lot of
I thought
conflict.
Green Book was more paint by.
I haven't heard anybody say that,
Yeah.
Dan. That sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Still a great movie, but
I think I didn't finish Vice and I didn't finish Bohemian Rhapsody.
I finished.
fuck Bohemian
The last
Rhapsody.
20 minutes of that movie are awesome.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
But it's just because it's the performance.
It's the Live
right?
Aid performance.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
rad.
Yeah, but I mean, you could also just watch that. Like a documentary
Sure.
about the Live Aid performance might
Yeah.
be more interesting. Bohemian Rhapsody winning sound editing,
Four
sound
Academy
mixing,
Awards.
Should've won those.
and editing kind of blows my mind.
It won for best editing.
yeah.
It should
But
not have- it should
it was
not
being
have-
mocked for its editing.
Elise's joke. This is all credit to Elise. She goes, maybe they thought it was most editing.
Nice.
So
Good one,
and then it
Elise,
would win for
wherever
that
you
one.
are.
Wow.
But man, I was kind of dumbfounded by that. I think the movie is kind of whatever, but it's just got a really, really good PR. Really good PR for that movie.
Yeah.
Vice is fine, but there's something about telling a story of something that just happened like a couple of years ago.
I'd actually really like to see this. I like
It was
Christian Bale.
good, and it's very interesting, and Adam McKay is very good. Did you ever see
Big Short?
The Big Short?
I did.
It's very similar to Big Short.
I like Big Short.
But sometimes these movies feel. Sam Rockwell's great.
It's
Christian
he,
Bale's great.
He
Lots
clearly
of good performances
so
this year.
good.
I will say this: amazing performance, lots of strong acting this year.
yeah. I felt like Vice he went in with like an agenda.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
he
And
admits
not,
that.
I mean, I think you just show what Dick Cheney did, and it's good enough. But it's sort of like, at one point they literally stopped the movie and they're like, he's a bad guy, and you
Oh,
go,
yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm good, I can make that decision on my own. But they think you're an idiot. So.
Adam McKay likes to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's smarter
It's
than
his
you.
style.
Yeah.
Also,
right.
he made stupid comedies like Anchorman and.
I know. I love those movies.
Yeah.
But now he's a big Hollywood boy.
Yeah.
Thinking he's full of Oscars.
I think Black
I did-
Klansman is worth watching.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
great
do
movie.
think it was definitely one of the best movies of the year. I enjoyed
loved
it a lot.
Yeah, I loved it.
Actually, apparently, there's a lot of huge differences, I guess, between the story and then what made it into the film.
Oh.
Spike Lee generated a lot of things, I think, to make the the police, kind of the heroes of the movie. And Adam Driver's character, I guess, wasn't Jewish in real life. Kind of give him a motivation. But anyway, still a great film.
Yeah.
And David Duke. Oh my God,
Topher
what
Grace
a
is
fucker.
great.
Yeah,
Topher
Topher
Grace
Grace
is
is amazing in this movie.
He likes to edit Star Wars.
He does.
It really does.
I'm gonna make another trailer.
Yeah. Go to work.
First of all,
Topher.
Get back
the
to work.
original Eddie Brock. Thank you very much.
My Eddie Brock.
I was to say, when you're talking about Eddie Brock, please specify that you mean Tom
We're
Hardy.
on Venom. We
because-
got a meeting, Dan. We got a meeting. We got to go.
All right, we're out of here. I guess if let us know what you thought about the Oscars in the comments. We'll be back next week to probably talk about Captain Marvel. Is that next week? Does anyone
It is.
remember?
It is next week. Yeah.
Right on.
Oh my.
Well, bye, you guys. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Right? He looks and he dresses exactly the way Robert Rodriguez thinks he looks. He's Robert Rodriguez's upgraded suit.
Dream Boy.
Yeah. Which I thought was really funny.
He does have a lot of cool leather jackets.
And he wears bandanas and stuff. Like he looks exactly like a young Robert Rodriguez.
And Robert Rodriguez was actually a professional